Hello, I'm Archbishop Joseph Naumann of the Catholic Archdiocese of Kansas City and Kansas. This year of 2014 is an election year. The Kansas Catholic bishops are releasing a series of video reflections on some important issues Catholics should give prayerful consideration to before voting. In the Gospel of Mark, Jesus responds to a question about the permissibility of divorce with these words: "From the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, no human being must separate." Our Lord, in his teaching about marriage, references the original biblical description of marriage found in the book of Genesis. The understanding of marriage being a covenant of love between one man and one woman was not an arbitrary contrivance of pre-modern human beings. It was inscribed into the complementary nature of the male and female bodies, and it is an important part of God's plan for humanity. I never imagined, when I was ordained a priest almost 40 years ago, that the definition of marriage as a covenant of love between one man and one woman would become controversial. Over the last several decades, a culture that supported strong marriages as the foundation for vibrant family life has suffered a catastrophic breakdown. Like falling dominoes, our society has lost respect for the sanctity of marriage, for its permanence, for its openness to life, and now for complementarity of the sexes being an essential component of authentic marriage. The breakdown of marriage has not been good for the most vulnerable, children, the poor, and in particular, single mothers. Its further erosion promises only to do greater harm to the lives of individuals and society as a whole. While in Christian theology there is a rich tradition upholding the importance of the marriage bond, one does not have to be a believer to recognize that the family is the building block for society, and that marriage is the glue giving families stability and holding them together. It is not faith, but rather reason, that observes the historical fact that marriage, until very recently, has been understood universally to mean the joining of a woman and a man by a permanent and public commitment of love. This is the essence of marriage. Men and women are different, and this is good. Both are equal in their human dignity and share a claim on the same fundamental human rights. However, both sexes have significant physical and psychological differences. This is part of God's plan for humanity. Men and women are not interchangeable. While both are indispensable for human life and human flourishing, this is especially true in family life. No man can be a mother to a child, and no woman can be a father. Every child needs and deserves a father and a mother. Every child wants to know who his or her mother and father are and longs to be with them and to be loved by them. The best environment in which a child can grow and mature is in a family where the child's mother and father love each other and together love the child that is the fruit of their love. Our society has an important stake to encourage and support strong marriages that help to shape and form the next generation of productive citizens. This is why our public policies have traditionally supported marriage, because of its importance to the common good and the future of the nation. I was raised in a single-parent home. I have nothing but the highest respect for single parents who strive heroically to provide for the needs of their children. Similarly, I have the highest esteem for birth mothers who make one of the greatest human sacrifices because of their love and desire for what is best for their child. Adoptive parents also are modern heroes as they provide a loving family for an adopted child. The almost 50-year erosion of respect for marriage and the essential contribution that married couples provide to society is now culminating in the divisive, polarizing debate over same-sex marriage. The culture has become increasingly hostile, not toward those who want to redefine the most fundamental of all human institutions, but towards those who simply are striving to preserve the notion of marriage as it has been understood for millennia across a wide variety of cultures. Economic issues and foreign policy are important to all Americans. However, preserving authentic marriage as the foundation of the family is even more important. Democracies can only survive and thrive if they have a virtuous citizenry. Personal and civic virtues are best learned and developed in the context of loving families. A Catholic cannot support and/or vote for a candidate because he or she supports same-sex marriage. To vote for a candidate despite their support for same-sex marriage is only morally an option if there are even more serious moral defects in the policy positions of their opposing candidate. Our opposition to the redefinition of marriage does not mean we lack respect or empathy for those who experience same-sex attractions. We know that they are made in the image of God and that Jesus gave his life on Calvary as much for them as for anyone else. However, loving those with same-sex attractions and seeking their good does not translate into redefining the very foundation of culture and society. Finally, it is important to recognize the importance the courts are playing in changing public policy on marriage. A majority of states either have constitutional amendments or laws defining the traditional understanding of marriage. Nevertheless, similar to what happened with abortion, judges are intervening to rewrite constitutions and laws. As voters, we must realize that in addition to the other important responsibilities of the president and governors is the appointment of judges. The United States Senate also has an important responsibility in the confirmation of judicial appointments. There are many who are despairing that our culture has been lost. Despair and discouragement are not options for the Christian. It will take time and hard work to rebuild a culture that supports marriage and family life. Culture is the result of individual choices made in the manner we choose to live our lives, as well as whom we choose to elect to serve in public office. We have our work cut out for us. Let us begin to rebuild our culture now in renewing our own commitment to family life and in how we choose to vote. Thank you for listening, and God bless.